questioning.
We've been listening into the first impeachment inquiry hearing of four experts there called to testify. And let's bring in our panel now to discuss what we've been listening to. Joining us right now, former senior advisor with the Trump 2020-2016 campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski with us, and also Trump attorney Jesse Binnall. Gentlemen, welcome into Newsline today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Well, I know you've been watching this as closely as we have here, and the four witnesses there, Jonathan Turley, Eileen O'Connor, Bruce Dubinsky, a forensic accountant, and this Michael Gerhardt, a professor at UNC Chapel Hill. I just want to get your reaction because the Democrats have seemed to have a lot of, well, they're being skillful, trying to say there's no reason for this impeachment inquiry. I want to ask you first, Jesse, do you think these witnesses were the best choice to kick off this hearing, knowing that all the documents we just heard yesterday from the House Ways and Means could have been perhaps shown stronger today?
Well, I think there's a lot of evidence that's going to need to be shown here, but I think that what you're hearing from these witnesses is important, that this is a very, very important process. It's a critical constitutional duty of the House of Representatives to do these sort of impeachment inquiries, and that there's going to be a necessity to take and follow the money in these cases. And that's what's going to happen. The Democrats are, of course, first of all, you're just seeing hypocrisy from them, saying that the way that Nancy Pelosi went about the impeachment of Donald Trump was completely wrong is apparently now their position. But second of all, they're saying, well, you haven't proven your case even before the inquiry has begun. And I think the reason is because they are terrified of where this inquiry is going to go. They know that as one of the witnesses said, where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke here.
Yeah, that was Bruce Dubinsky, a forensic accountant, laying out sort of how shell companies are used and how they can be used in many dubious ways. Corey, bringing you into the conversation here. Obviously, House Ways and Means Chair Jason Smith yesterday put out more information that are emails from these whistleblowers showing what they say is straightforward interference from the DOJ not to go after and impeding their investigation into Joe Biden. Clearly, that is something that a lot of folks are saying is just another layer to all of this today.
Yeah, Chairman Smith put out a 700-page document yesterday. If anyone watched that press conference, he was basically being vilified by an NBC reporter who tried to assail his credibility on this matter. And the chairman basically said, look, there's 700 pages here. The evidence is very clear. We're laying it out so the American people can see it. And between Jason Smith, Jim Jordan, and Comer, we have seen these three chairmen lay out a case for the reason for this impeachment inquiry. What we know unequivocally, because we have now seen the evidence, is money was sent, wired from the Chinese government or a Chinese company directly to someone who was residing at Joe Biden's residence or using his residence. We know that. It clearly demonstrates that they are selling influence. And this notion that all of this occurred when Joe Biden was not technically in office is a complete fallacy. The Democrats are afraid to shed light on what the American people already know, but that this has been a pay-for-play scandal for many years since Joe Biden was in the U.S. Senate, the vice presidency, and Hunter Biden and Joe's brother have made a lot of money off of the Biden family cabal.
And that's very leads me to what I wanted to ask Jesse, because there was an exchange this morning with Turley, Jesse, talking about the benefit. And if your family is benefiting, maybe you don't even have to legally be the one to accept the bribe. Can you walk us through the legality on that, and if that is even more exposure for President Joe Biden?
Oh, that's absolutely right. And the important thing is not that you receive the benefit of the bribe yourself. The important thing is that you just have knowledge of the bribe, and it's going to someone else who you prefer to go to. This was, ironically, this is exactly what Jack Smith's theory was in the Bob McDonnell case, except Jack Smith wasn't able to meet all the elements to show that that's what happened. Here, the House Republicans are far further along in showing, at the beginning of this inquiry, they're far further along in showing that there is a quid pro quo of some sort between Hunter Biden his business partners that was known about by Joe Biden than Jack Smith ever was in the Bob McDonnell case.
I have.
So
yeah.
this is already, I'd say, a very, very strong case that Congress has.
And possibly could get even stronger. Obviously, this hearing could last for several hours. We'll be dipping back in and out. We want to remind folks of that. But final question, 30 seconds to you, Corey. They also brought up the use of White House aides, if they were used in a professional capacity to perhaps, not be transparent to the American people. That right there is another stumbling block.
Well, it's another violation. And what we see most of the times in these instances is not only is it the crime that you start with, but it's the cover up all of the time. And that's really what we're uncovering now. Congress is uncovering the fact that government employees were used to hide this. Hunter Biden had direct access to the White House. He was bypassing the standard protocols. He was using his father's staff to benefit himself and others in the family. And that is all going to come out. It's going to come out before this election happens. And that's why when you look at the polling data, Donald Trump is clearly beating Joe Biden in every public poll. ABC, Washington Post must have had to roll over in their graves when they show that Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden by 10 points on Sunday. And what we continue to see is that this pay-for-play scandal is only going to get worse for the Bidens.
Corey Lewandowski, Jesse Binnall, thanks for joining us today. We'll be watching this hearing, as we know you will too. Excellent analysis. Thanks, gentlemen.